Loba has come straight out of the gate, making a bigger impact than perhaps any other release legend before her. Her potential lays in precise, patient tactical usage, big brain loot steals, and quick analysis of the errors you run by in search for high tier loot. To me, it's Loba's tactical though, burglar's best friend, that has the most potential. It has a big skill curve, so it's going to take some getting used to. So in this video, I'm going to lay down the tips for using this tactical really effectively, and also some great tips for the passive and ultimate after. Before we get into the pro tips and the more advanced stuff, I need to go over some of the basics because it's very important you understand the base mechanics and exactly how it works before you take it any further. So the first thing is, when you hold down the tactical button, you'll get this thing here, this arc that shows you how far you can throw it. And you'll have a blue line and an orange line. I'll explain the orange line later, but that sort of shows you where you'll land when looking through objects, but it also has another role, and I'll explain that in a minute. You can also cancel it. Make sure you learn that key press. The cancel it button is different to the button you have to press when you cancel it when it's thrown in midair. So if you don't want to throw it, learn which button it is, so that you're not accidentally throwing it in a pinch. Get down these basic controls in the firing range before you jump in, because it's going to really save you some time getting that muscle memory down. Now, when you throw it, you can also cancel it. And when you cancel the tactical, it solves two purposes. One, it means that you essentially, with a very, very short delay, will teleport immediately. And that means if someone's pushing you, you can get out of that situation very quickly. And that's great. You know, if you're just going to throw it really far and wait for it to land, people are going to push you whilst you're just standing there, and that's never very fun. So instead, what you want to do is cancel it manually, and then you'll teleport immediately. Now that's great that the cancel button mid-air allows you to escape quicker from a fight if you're using it like that. But it also allows you to get more precise jumps. I'll slow this down in editing, but essentially when you throw the bracelet, that orange indicator will change and it will now show you where you will land when you cancel the button. So pay attention to that because it means we can get very precise jumps. Let's say, for example, we want to land on this target. As you can see, it's pretty hard to land on top of walls that are above us. If we go like this, we sort of just go in front of it. So what we need to do instead is aim behind it and then wait for the indicator to land on top of it and then press the cancel button. It takes a lot of practice.
Tossing jump drive.
And there we are.
Tossing jump drive.
So as you can see with this clip slowed down, the orange indicator tells us where we're going to land. To master this ability, you need to have crazy fast reflexes and be able to tell what's happening on the screen. You need to have a really good focus on it basically. But there's some other tips that I'm going to show you that are going to be really great at mastering this ability, including some sneaky plays to make sure when you throw it aggressively, you can pull out your weapon in time. Make sure when you throw it defensively, you aren't getting shot. There's a bunch of stuff we're going to go into, and then we'll touch on the ultimate and the passive too. So first things first, once you've thrown the bracelet, it doesn't matter where you are. You can move around. You don't have to keep line of sight with the bracelet. Once it lands, and you're going to teleport there. This is really important because it means you can throw it, then hide behind cover, and make sure you're not getting shot at, and you can land where you want to. A really good example of this is this clip here. I throw the bracelet to escape because two players are pushing me, and because I don't want them to attack me, I throw it and then close the door, and basically I'm safe. It's a really good way to use it. So think about this when you're trying to disengage or maybe push aggressively. Make sure that when you throw the bracelet, you are staying hidden. Another thing you have to realize about Loba's tactical is that it makes a ton of noise. It has two very clear visual indicators, which means when you throw it, somebody is going to know that a Loba has teleported in. This means if you want to engage with it, you have to be very smart with your placements. The best thing I personally think it's useful for is when you damage an enemy and they go behind cover to heal, you can then teleport near them and finish them off. However, don't just wildly teleport on top of people, because when you teleport, there is a period where your movement is very slow and you have a period where you cannot equip a weapon. If you just teleport onto somebody, you're going to die. Instead, teleport right next to somebody on a piece of cover or behind a piece of cover. Once again, this is going to take some practice and smart placement, and you're going to need to learn how to cancel the tactical mid-throw perfectly. But once you get it good, once you get this practice, you can push players really well. So essentially, shoot someone from a distance, then throw the tactical next to cover, teleport to that cover, and then you have time for the animation to play out so that you can shoot them. Another tip is sort of abstract, but it's really interesting to think about. There are so many areas you can throw the bracelet. Essentially, if you can throw a grenade through a small gap, you can throw the bracelet. So be creative and experiment and learn about all of the places you can throw this thing. There are so many small gaps and windows that you can throw through that can really benefit you. You throw it through there and catch people off guard or by surprise. Just remember, there's always going to be that animation. So most of the time, throwing yourself into a building isn't really going to be that amazing smart play unless there's people in that building really engaged in a fight or something. Another interesting tip is that you can actually use the tactical on a zip line, which means in some cases you can kind of completely cut out that redeploy animation. You can take this clip here for an example. Unfortunately, we got absolutely destroyed by a pretty well-timed Bangalore ult, but this can be really useful to get up high places or to redeploy very fast, and I definitely recommend you experimenting with this with the different jump towers that are around the map. I want to see how far we can take this. There's definitely going to be some spots, especially this jump tower here, for example. I also think that there is a lot of potential for synergy with Loba's abilities and other abilities. When you use Loba's teleport, for example, it could be paired really well with a shadow totem or perhaps Octane's jump pad. Let's say you want to push into a fight, right? But you know if you jump in, you're going to have to do that animation. It's going to be a little bit messy. So what about throwing your bracelet on a jump pad? As soon as you spawn, you'll bounce straight up so you can play that animation. By the time you land, you'll be able to shoot people in the face. Pretty interesting. I think there's a lot of theory crafting available for merging different abilities together. It's really exciting. So I think that is pretty much all I have to say about the tactical for now, but I definitely think it's a high skill cap ability and there's definitely going to be some more learning to do, so I may make a future video. Now I'm going to talk about the passive and the ultimate because there's some things to learn there too. Firstly, with the passive, I have two quick tips. One, you can use a sniper to zoom in to see loot through buildings at a further distance and work out what exactly the purple and gold items actually are. Very useful for kind of scanning out an area. Number two, make sure to ping loot for your friends. You can ping stuff through walls, which will make it easier for your teammates to know what's there too. Now, for the ultimate, we have some more juicy tips, so let's get into those now. One strategy I really like to use, this is especially useful in some of the new areas on the map. You land right in the center, you take one of the ult charge stations and you put your ult down immediately. You then basically have free range loot to all of the loot in the area. You get yourself a body shield and a battery and pick up a nearby weapon, and then you can go push a fight and you've got the best armor already. It's a really great tactic. I've done it so many times and it works really well, so I definitely suggest trying that out. Make sure you pick up a weapon first so you can defend yourself if someone tries to push you whilst you try to claim that ult charge. Another thing is try to use the ult in places that have vertical areas like the cage. The cage is so good for getting a large amount of loot in a small area because the radius is horizontal. It doesn't take into account verticality, so the vertical range is infinite basically. So yeah, cage is really good. There are a few other spots like that on the map and you'll get tons of loot very quickly. Now you can also place an ult near a care package and wait for an enemy to open it. You can't loot through care packages by default, but as soon as it opens you can take that loot. So you can just keep an eye out, wait for it to open, and then stay in the ultimate menu and quickly steal golden items like a golden weapon from enemy players. I haven't done it myself, but there's a really awesome clip that you have to see. I'll play that now.
Yeah. They're gonna do it in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, devotion. I got it.
They know where we are.
You can also pick the ult back up again, and that will stop enemies from looting from it basically. So that's always good to know. But if you don't do that, you can just keep it down there and use it to kind of figure out what items are in the area. For example, if you want to know if there are any batteries, any ammo, any meds, it's a really good thing to do. Even if you've used up your 2 item slots already, just knowing what's in the area can be really valuable. I like putting the ult down late game in a really small ring, so I can put it behind cover and then just access it for quick armor swaps, because there's going to be so many death boxes in the area. You can just quickly swap out to a purple from who knows where, and then you're ready to get straight back into the fight again, which is really awesome. For our final tip, we're going to be talking about how you can actually loot through walls in some areas. For example, let's say the zone has pushed you in and you're unable to get some death boxes from a fight you just won, where you can rotate round to a point where you can loot through walls, and this can be really great for getting loot that you can't otherwise access, or putting it down when there's a fight nearby to try and loot when players get knocked. It's a really sneaky play and it works really well. You just have to pay attention to the radius as you're trying to place your ult to get the best position. So that's it for Loba. These are the tips so far. I'm definitely going to be playing her a lot more. I think her potential is incredible and there's a lot of learning to do for sure. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed playing Loba, and I'll be back again streaming later. So hopefully I'll see you there. Cheerio! Thank you so much for watching. If you want more content, I am currently doing a sort of Apex training series in my members area, so it's just $2.99 a month to join, and I'll be adding new videos every week, and you can talk with me and ask me what videos or tips you want me to create, and I'll make videos specially created for the members. So yeah, definitely sign up for that.